8%, go back to 96%. You really got to put a lot of trust in that crew.
Maybe even a little lower than that. You know, these guys were just great. You know, we were running on fumes at the end, but they made the call. It's twice this year that we've won races by fuel mileage, and you know, the whole crew. Derek made a great call on saying pit at that one accident. It put us in front of the guys, and we just held it there. You know, Jimmy was catching me a little bit, but we just kept enough cushion between us to stay on our tires.
Now, Jacques Villeneuve did not have a great day. Questionable whether he even finished in the top 10. You said at Milwaukee after the race that you were going for the points championship this year. How do you feel about it now?
We're ecstatic. You know, I don't know if we led the most laps or not, but if we did, that's another point. You know, we qualified on the pole, that's a point, and then the 20 for the win. So we should be real close to Jock right now in the championship. It's going to be great.
Well, it's also the first time, Paul, that a winner has started on the pole and gone to victory lane since Paul Tracy did it all the way back at the last race last year in Laguna Seca. Let's check in with the second place finisher in Lyn St. James.
Okay, we're here with a very jubilant crew, I'll tell you. Jimmy Vasser, you know, I think it was racing at its best. And, you know, you're fit, you don't look tired, but you gave it everything you had.
Yeah, you know, it was all I could do to just stay with Robbie or try to catch up to him a little bit once in a while if he pulled out. So, you know, making a pass or something like that would have been on this track very, very difficult. So I just tried to do everything the same lap when I noticed that Pruitt couldn't overtake me and I could stay where I was and maybe just perhaps wait for Robbie to make a mistake, and he didn't. But we're real happy to finish second with the Target STP car.
I think this is your highest finish in IndyCar racing. It was really perfection. It seemed flawless to me for the top probably 8 or 10 cars.
Well, yeah, the team did a great job on the car. You know, the Chip Ganassi Target team worked really hard all season long. We've had a good race car. We just unfortunately had some mechanical failures on a few races where we should have been in the same position, I think, and it just feels good to finish.
Well, now we've got a coach here, and we got Els, who's also an owner, who I think gets a happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, this is a great birthday present, I'll tell you. It's not a better way to do it than to see him up there.
Racing at its best, huh?
Oh, it definitely is. You know, this is being this close, and for me, it's getting back into the excitement. I'll tell you what, took a ride in the pace car down with the cars getting going. I got the chills going down in the back straightaway, seeing these guys go by. I knew it was going to be a good day.
I can tell you're hooked. And Chip, I know that, you know, you've been doing this a long time, but I have a feeling this may be one of the high moments.
Well, it is. You know, like Jimmy said, we've had a tough year, and I just want to thank the crew and the sponsors, everybody hanging in there. We've had a really, really tough year. You know, we've been up in the front a lot, and I knew it was going to be a good day because this morning I brought Joe to the into our race meeting for the first time. I said, hey, give these guys some words of wisdom. You know, what do they say in the locker room before the big game? And he came up with some prophetic statements, and I think got everybody in the right mood for today.
I'd like to hear what those prophetics were, but I know we won't get to share them. Okay, thanks very much. Congratulations to all of you. Jack?
Well, Lynn, they've rolled away the third-place finisher's car. Those Firestone tires, Scott Pruitt, they did it again. Brought you home to a podium finish, but not quite enough to make the pass.
Well, that was the luck of the draw. It's real difficult to pass here. You know, the Firestone tires is the best tire they've given us so far. Ran well all day long. The Patrick guys did a superb job. You know, we're going to get on top of the podium, but you know, these consistent finishes right on top of the podium, we're in the hunt for the championship, and we'll keep on going.
Let's talk about that championship. I know how important it is for you, but how about for the team, for Pat Patrick and everybody involved? You know, Pat walked away from racing until the group from Firestone came together, and then he tapped you, and you guys are all like the underdogs in this competition in '95.
Well, I think it says a lot for the management. I mean, Pat Patrick, Jim McGee, Steve Newey, all the guys. You know, we've come a long way in a short period of time because, I mean, we weren't a team until this year as far as coming together, and they've done a fabulous job. Pat really understands the business. Jim really understands the business, and you know, we just keep this going like this, and we're going to have a great season.
Well, how about you understanding the business with road racing coming up? Road races coming up, a few of them left. Are you going to be able to make it to victory lane soon?
I certainly hope so. I mean, this was just luck of the draw. Any one of us could have won. This is just a real difficult track to pass on, and you know, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But we definitely got it. The right set of circumstances, we'll come home with a win.
We'll go get another one of those trophies on the podium. Let's check in with Paul.
Well, congratulations to the top three. IndyCar announced their 96 schedule today, adding Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Now, 2 TBA dates. They're trying to work out the exact transportation for those two, but they're going to fall apparently between March 3rd and April 14th. And then the regular lineup: Long Beach, Nazareth, Milwaukee, Detroit, Portland, Oregon, Cleveland, Ohio, Toronto, Brooklyn, Michigan for the 500, Lexington, Ohio, Elkhart Lake, Vancouver, and finish up the season on the 8th of September at Laguna Seca in Monterey, California. That's the schedule for 1996 for the PPG IndyCar World Series. Michael Andretti finished today in 4th place. He's with Lynn.
Well, Michael Andretti, it's probably one of the first times in a long time you haven't actually led a race, and I know you're disappointed, but at the same time, I know you had a really good car, but there was just nowhere to use it, to be able to get it out there.
Exactly, nowhere to use it. It was all track position. We definitely had the quickest car because when I was behind the group, the lead group, I'd be running 13.1s, and then I'd back off a little bit to see what I could do by myself, and then I'd do a 12.4 by myself. So they were slowing me up a ton, but I just couldn't pass them, you know. They got very lucky with that last yellow because we were looking good up until the last yellow because they would have had to pit again and then we would have been home free. But, you know, that's the way it goes.
But you have to say that, I mean, with the precision of which everybody was running in those top 8, or it was really because it was not only in front of you but behind you, that it's kind of road racing at its best. And from a street course standpoint, I mean, it's not maybe the finish you'd like to have, but at the same time, looking from it, it was really good racing.
Oh, yeah, it was really tight. You know, when you have a track like this, it's difficult to pass, and you have a guy that's slowing the bunch up. Yeah, it makes it more exciting, and that's what you had. But, you know, it makes for tough racing, though, when you have a fast car and you can't use it.
Yeah, it's hard. But Portland, huh?
Yep.
Okay, thanks again. Okay, Paul.
Michael Andretti turned the fastest lap in the race on lap at 11 at 104.5 miles an hour. Coming up next, more great racing. Jeff Gordon and the hottest drivers in auto racing speed off to South Carolina. From Darlington Raceway, it's the second challenge at the International Race of Champions. That's more racing coming up next here on ABC, so stay with us.
Opportunity.
That way? I don't know.
The best opportunity in the business will be gone.
Where? Right there.
Because ITT Automotive already supplies parts to every major car maker on the planet. For 75 years, ITT, the one to follow.
This is the Texaco Havoline stock car. And this is the Texaco Havoline Indy car. And while these cars run on special fuels, we figured it was still a good way to remind you that Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines give your car unsurpassed performance. And Texaco Havoline Formula 3 motor oil and Texaco antifreeze coolant provide complete protection. But if we really wanted you to remember our name, maybe we should have sponsored something slower.
There was no mistake about it. I was definitely in cruiser heaven. Even my wife looked somehow different. And there I was prowling the streets on the new Kawasaki Vulcan 800. V-twin rumbling, chrome gleaming in the sun. Is this for real? Or am I just dreaming?
The Vulcan 800 from Kawasaki. It's as real as it gets.
America's top track athletes compete in our country's most prestigious meet of the year. Plus the Advil Mini Marathon from New York City, Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
The ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix has been brought to you by Texaco Havoline Formula 3 motor oil, Kawasaki, let the good times roll, Goodyear, #1 in tires, and ITT, for 75 years, the one to follow.
Back with the final results of the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix. Robbie Gordon, great finish, wrapped up all the points. Pole, most laps led, and the win. Jimmy Vasser, that's his best career finish. 6 races in a row now that Teo Fabi has finished in the points, and Scott Pruitt's been in the points 7 out of 8 races. As you take a look at the unofficial results, not anticipating any protests here today. A lot of cars, though, very expensive race. 9 different cars involved in contact with one another or the wall. So there's your official results. Let's go now back to the pit once again, and Lynn St. James.
Okay, well, we're with Jacques Villeneuve, who's a disappointed but a finisher. Jacques, you didn't have the best car out there today, so you had a lot more work to do probably because of it.
Well, we thought it was okay after the warm-up. We had very old tires, and they didn't go off, and the lap times were fast. But once we got in the race, after a few laps on the first set of tires, the rear just got very loose. Then on the first pit stop, I went in the pits wide because Pruitt's got his hose very wide, and I didn't want to run over it, so we couldn't fuel, and we didn't get any fuel in the first pit stop, and lost some time there. And afterwards, during the race, some reason the front tires grained, and we lost the front end. So the whole race was a lot of work.
A lot, too much work, but at least you got to finish. Thanks. Congratulations, Steve. Yeah. Okay, Jack.
Well, then the guy that finished in 5th place led for a while. What was the pass like that you lost the lead?
Well, we lost the lead when we came in on that final stop and then trying to get back out. You know, we just, I guess Gordon and Vassar had pitted earlier, and they lucked into that last yellow. You know, you just can't see that coming, and so that last yellow they were able to stay out because we were expecting them to pit.
Well, Paul, though, for Al Unser Jr., it's unofficially 4th in the points. That's what's very important today. And he did say that the race would be won and lost on pit road.
Well, Al Unser Jr., this finish here next Sunday. Get your kicks here on ABC Sports. We'll travel to our nation's capital for a world-class soccer showdown. The United States battles Mexico in Washington, D.C., live from RFK Stadium at 3:30 Eastern, right here on ABC Sports. And the points after today's run, well, Jacques Villeneuve fell 17 points off. He really gave up a lot of points with that run here today, and Robbie Gordon certainly closed in. Scott Pruitt now sits in 3rd. And we look at the rest of the point standing. Adrian Fernandez had a terrific finish today. Let's talk with him right now.
Well, Adrian, it looks as if you didn't go 200 miles. You're really refreshed, but running in the middle of that pack, you closed it up. Tell me just what it was like. I don't know what else to ask you on this one.
Oh, it was just 100% all the time. With the guys we were running, they were flat out all the time, and I was pushing Al Unser Jr. a lot. I was closing to him in some slow corners, and I was waiting for him to make a mistake because I was never close enough to really make a legitimate pass, but he never made a mistake, and just the guys did a terrific job.
Paul, when you talk about the young guns, you better count this cat in, too, because he's going to make some history before this season's over.
Boy, no doubt in my mind. I'll tell you what, the versatility of all of the competitors battling in the Nations Cup, United States still out in front, no change in the order. But this is going to be a very, very tight battle as they come down to the end of the season. Manufacturers battle. Ford Cosworth pulled a little bit ahead of Mercedes-Benz. Honda staying in there. Of course, Honda, we're only talking in today's race just 2 different cars, and one of those involved in a crash. So now the crowd here at Detroit is ready to head home. And Sam, we've seen a terrific day.
And an interesting thing happened too. Miami was won by Villeneuve, Australia by Tracy, Phoenix, Gordon, Gott, Long Beach, Unser, and now this cycle is starting to repeat itself with Indy won by Villeneuve, Milwaukee by Tracy, and Detroit now by Gordon. So I guess it means that we're going to see Unser winning at Vancouver in a couple of weeks.
And Bobby, now as we head to the road races, it's still going to be some great racing.
Well, I don't think we've ever seen anything any closer than what we've seen today. They cited an awful lot by what was outside the groove, but a good one.
Well, as the crowd heads home, the Indy cars have a weekend off and then head to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. But let's look back at some of the great action of today at Belle Isle. Series resumes in 2 weeks from today at Portland. Coverage on ESPN. I'm Paul Page for Sam Posey, Bobby Unser, Jack Arute, and Lynn St. James. So long.
Young man who is a rookie.